Now, let us look at the benefits, the beauty of what has happened because of Trump, the POTUS I would call him because I respect him very much. What has he done? Today, EU has got the technology. It's got a wide range of products, wide range of capabilities, which you can now deliver to the world. Why? Because it is now, it has to earn its money to provide the same services to its people, even though that defense budget is going to go up tremendously. As I was saying in another presentation of mine, Britain was spending nearly 50% of its GDP on defense in 1945 and came down to 2.3 somewhere in 2025. Today, the same thing has happened in any of the EU countries. Now what happens? All the EU countries will now have to pool in their resources and develop a defense mechanism, defense production mechanism, a defense design system, and because they have to now start protecting themselves. Because we don't have the security, EU does not have the security of the US. So all the countries, the EU has to now come together, form a policy which I think will take another 5 to 6 years for them to form a policy, because each government will be wondering how much to spend on defense. How much of the defense is going to help that country? Where are they going to manufacture it? Is it going to be a polluting industry? Because EU spoke so much about pollution, so much about climate change, and they were harassing India. And today they will have to change that thought process and find out whether are they going to manufacture their products. Where is their arms going to come in? Where are they going to get the shells for their howitzers? There are so many factors which have to be now factored in. EU has now sit together, put their heads together and hold their hands together to find out how much is going to be the cost of refurbishing the defense forces. It's not a small amount, my friend, it's not a small amount. India knows, because India has come from zero. It knows what is the cost of developing a new product, what is the cost of developing a new technology, what is the cost of developing a new technology for certain kind of altitudes, temperature changes. India has got the expertise. India has learnt it the hard way. They are now like beaten gold. They have been beaten, put in the fire, beaten again, put in the fire, and now they are a beautiful sheet of gold metal shining in the world because they have learnt it the hard way. China has learnt it the hard way. Turkey has done it the hard way. Today, India is now the fastest growing economy in the world. It's got one of the best technology bases in the world. It has got a number of companies which are now indulging with the help of the Indian government, setting up defense research, and they're producing new products for the world and for the Indian people. I told you in another video that India is now exporting, camouflage and protection gear to the African countries. So there's a lot of technology available in India also. Now, what is going to happen in the future? My thinking of what is going to happen in the future. It's going to be a stage-by-stage development for India. What are the areas available for India today? The areas that are available for India today are technological services with the help of all those experienced companies like TCS, Infosys, Wipro, HCL, and all those L&T Mindtree. There are so many companies which have the wherewithal, with the knowledge, capabilities, which are now going to be available. Why am I saying why simply in inverted commas I am saying it's going to be available? Why? because already POTUS has put in legislation that he is not going to have an Indian relationship manager working for each of these people in US using Indian services. There is going to be a price paid for it. It's a two-way game. What is a two-way game? The price India was quoting to do the service activities for those American companies may be 1/5 or 1/10 of the cost which would have cost them. Today, if suppose a person in India is paid, say, ₹1,00,000 for being an engineer, working, outsourcing some work for TCS, working in India for a client in the US. ₹1,00,000 is nothing in the US. It is equivalent approximately $1,000. That means approximately $18,000 per year for an average salary of 1 lakh into 12 lakh salary. It is nothing very much for an American. It is going to be nothing. He is going to be on the streets if he is earning just $20,000 per year. So what is going to be the cost factor? If the $20,000 is now going to become $50,000, what will be the service cost for those people using the American services, American people services? When the outsourcing slowly starts, the cost starts rising, it's going to cost a rise in cost, input costs for those companies which have been using Indian cheap labor. I say not Indian cheap labor, I would say Indian cost-effective labor for rendering their services. So it's going to be a two-way street. We have to watch and see what is going to happen in the next 2 years or next year. Well, there will be a big hit for all these big companies who are the bellwethers for Indian stock market. And it is going to change. Why is it going to change? Now Europe is now wondering how to protect its interests. It's got the capabilities, it's got the technology, and with the blending of the technology with the Indian service sector, there might be a boom for Indian service sector, because those services can now be made available for the EU. Now the EU is rich. This God fundamentally EU is rich. It was extremely rich, but now if POTUS, because the rules of defense, it's now the richness is going to come down slowly because defense cost is going to go up. Now, if defense cost is going to go up, they require factories to manufacture them. And you have a strong green movement there. And that green movement will now fight for the cause of non-polluting industries. And so, technology has to play a part, actual manufacturing has to play a part, everything has to play a part in the international world today. So the world is now, instead of being one-sided, it is going to be a swirling world. Technology will and has to move and intermingle and be made available for the world today. And India is now on a very big, good platform, a strong platform, because over the past 30 years, it has developed its technology, it has developed its skill sets, and has developed the service orientation for the world, because mainly the US was the fundamental place where technology was being developed and utilized very formally. With Europe opening up, let us take it forward.